Hey guys and gals, sorry I couldn't be there today. Feeling a little under the weather, but I left you some links to some other videos for 2-point perspective, but I was sort of worried that those might not be straightforward enough. So I'm just going to run through it real quick, doing a 2-point perspective room, just in case anyone has any problems. So hopefully this will help if you're having trouble. Okay, the first thing we do is we start with our horizon line, like we always do. We're going to put that kind of towards the middle of the page. Okay, and then remember, because it's 2-point perspective, we have 2 vanishing points that we want to be as far apart as possible. So we'll put those on the far edges of the paper. Now, ideally, I would have other sheets of paper taped to this so I could extend them further potentially, but this should be fine for what we're doing. Now remember, in 1-point perspective, we drew the rectangle in the middle and then drew the vanishing point inside and then drew our diagonals. Instead of a rectangle, this time we're going to draw a vertical line. And you can do it really anywhere you want, but the center is the most straightforward thing to do. So we'll put it right there in the middle. Now the thing to keep in mind is you don't want to make this line too long. The longer it is, the closer you're going to be to the corner of the room, because basically we're looking at a corner going inward. So you don't want to make this too long. Something about that length is good enough, but if you want to go a little shorter, that's fine. Somewhere like that should be fine. Now we want to line up our straight edge and go from our vanishing point. And you could draw the line all the way through, but I'm just going to, stop it here and go outward. You go to the top and bottom of this vertical line from each vanishing point. So we go like that. Then we do it from the other side, from the right vanishing point. And what you will see is something like that. And now that's going to be our 2 walls, ceiling and floor. Okay, so far pretty straightforward. Now we're going to do the same kind of elements that we did in our 1-point room. So we want to do like some floor tiles, a hallway, a door and a window, and some objects, some furniture, like 5 objects. So the first thing we're going to do is set up our hallway. So it doesn't matter where you put it, on the right or the left. I'm going to put it on the left-hand wall. So I'm going to draw a vertical line there. And I'm going to draw another vertical line parallel to that one there, from this diagonal to this diagonal, so going the whole length. And now we're going to draw a diagonal from this vanishing point to this corner, and a vanishing point from this corner. Now that looks kind of distorted because our vanishing point is so close. So this is why I was saying earlier, if we had another piece of paper to extend this vanishing point out further, these 2 lines wouldn't be so extreme, and angled downward, but it's fine for what we're doing right now. So that's our hallway. So now we're going to do a doorway. Let's do it over here. So we're going to do a vertical line here, a vertical line here, and then we are going to go, anything on this wall is going to go to this vanishing point. All right, remember the crisscross trick that I talked about in class the other day when we were doing the boxes. You go from the left vanishing point to the right wall to make it align with this, okay? So anything on this wall is going to recede to the right vanishing point. Anything on this wall is going to recede to the left. Okay, so now we can do our, details for like a door frame, or, do whatever you need to do to make it look realistic. Any little details that you can give for scale or for other things will help. You can do paneling on the doors. A lot of doors you see, like in your house or something, will have the little decorative panels here. So again, any of those diagonals are going to recede to the far left. I'm looking at the doorway that I have over here in my studio, and sort of mimicking that. We have two small ones on top, two bigger ones, longer ones in the middle, and then a couple of shorter ones along the bottom. Like so. And then we just connect them with vertical lines. You can clean up any excess with an eraser. Okay. And then your doorknob would be somewhere in there. Okay, and you can add more, details in there if you want to, but you get the idea. Okay, so for floor tiles, what we're going to do is, remember we talked about drawing the dots on the floor. This time you just have to draw the dots along the bottom of both walls. Okay, so I'm just kind of, again, eyeballing this, doing some evenly spaced dots along here, and then doing the same thing along this wall here. Okay. Now once again, we're going to do that crisscross trick that I talked about, where you're going to draw diagonals from this vanishing point through each of these lines this way, and then you're going to do it through each of these lines that way, and they're going to cross each other and form like a diamond grid kind of a pattern. So we'll start from this end and work our way across. And of course, as we get closer to the vanishing point, you'll start to see some slight warping as it starts to go kind of straight down. All right, now we do the same thing for the other vanishing point with the other dots. So start there. You can start to see how the tiles are forming. Now here, I'm going to continue my lines because we'll assume that the tiles continue down the hallway. So there we go. And I should have put a few more dots along this wall. Kind of forgot that. So very quickly I will rectify that. Put one there. There. And there. Okay, so there are our floor tiles. If we want to do like a picture on the wall, that's pretty easy. Once again, left vanishing point to right wall. We'll do our 2 diagonals. Do our verticals. And then you could continue to add window panes, frames, etc. But you know, you get the idea. You would do the, again, more diagonals coming from the left. And then do your verticals. I mean, yeah, on the however many you decide you want to have. It's a little crooked, but you get the idea. Okay. So now let's do a couple of objects. You know, I think you can pretty much extrapolate from here how to continue adding details like trim and molding on the ceiling and the floor, that sort of thing. Let's do a couple of objects. Once again, we can sort of use our floor tiles as a guide to kind of visualize the bottom of our squares that we're going to build for our object. So let's say we're going to make a couch and we want it to be about 2 floor tiles wide, or I mean long, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go ahead and do 5. We'll have it take up this whole section of floor. Be a nice king-size couch. So that means we're going to come up from these 4 corners here. So we've already got the bottom of our square drawn. We're going to come up from the corners. And then we're going to draw the top of our box. I know at least the back corner is going to be higher than the front because, you know, it's a couch, so the front part's going to be open. So if you want to go ahead and not draw the top of the box and just start lower, since you know that's what you're going to have to do, that's fine. So let's go a little lower here. And then we can take our eraser, go ahead and erase those lines, and we can actually erase this stuff in here because we're not going to need it. All right. So now for these lines, we're going to go to the right vanishing point. These lines go to the left. When I do the arm, we're going to go to the right vanishing point. Once you figure out which lines go where, it takes a couple minutes, but eventually you'll get to a point where it'll click, and then it'll go much faster. Should have taken this line out a little bit more. I'm going to draw a couple more diagonals for up here, for the top of the couch. Then I'm going to come down with these vertical lines. Then I'm going to draw that shape for there. Now, this is looking more like a bench at this point than a couch. So we can go ahead and add more details. So for example, I can now cut out some arms. I'm going to go a little lower here. Then I'll go up. This is short enough where I can just freehand those lines. Don't do that too often though. And line that up. And we're going to do this too. Go up from there. Okay, and now there's our base for our couch. Let me go a little lower with this line here. And now we can go ahead and I might want to add a little bit more to the bottom of this now that I think about it. Oops. And then you can continue drawing the cushions and, you know, do that whole thing, fill out the details, right? So you see how I just kind of made the box with 2 vanishing points. Instead of everything receding to one, now we're kind of looking at the corner of the couch. We're seeing more than one side of it. All right, and then we'll draw the top edge of that too. All right, and you can keep doing this. So let's say you want to make a coffee table in front of the couch. Then let's start from these 4 corners here. We'll do a really long coffee table, but it's going to be pretty short. Coffee tables are usually shorter. So there's one side. Let's do this corner so we know how high to go up here. Once we get this corner figured out, we can do this corner here, and then finally this corner here. Once again, take our eraser, erase this out. Now we kind of have the basic skeleton for our coffee table. Let's give it some thickness so it's not looking thin like a piece of paper. We can add legs and any other details we want. I mean, again, this is very boxy, very simplistic. You can add more details if you want. All right, but there's our really simple coffee table in front of our couch. All right, so the whole room can just start taking shape like this and just start adding more details. Like I could add some extra edges here and make drapes for the windows, a window frame. I can put pictures on the wall. I could, you know, add another doorway in the hallway for like a closet or a bathroom or something. Give it more depth. I could have more pictures hanging on the walls in the hall. I could, you know, and I'll just continue drawing more objects out here in the room. Okay, so that's basically the gist of what we're doing of making our 2-point rooms. All right, you can draw some, some smaller objects on the table, some books or something, but that's basically it. So hopefully this is enough to get you going. Again, if I wanted to make some kind of object along this wall, like a bookshelf or something, I would once again use my floor tiles as a guide. Come out from here. I might not want to go out the full tile, so maybe like a half a tile out from the wall. I'm just going to draw a diagonal. Remember, crisscross. If it's on the left wall, goes to the right vanishing point. And then these lines are going to actually recede to this vanishing point. So there's the bottom. I'm going to go up. I don't necessarily have to go up from the back corner. I mean, if you need to visualize it, go ahead. Decide how tall do you want your bookcase to be. I will see this back edge, this front edge. Okay. And remember, if your bookcase goes above the horizon line, you're not going to see the top of it. It's only if it's below. So I'm going to make mine, I'll go a little higher, up to there. And that means the back of it is going to really be kind of distorted like that. Okay. So there's our box for our shelves. Then we can start hollowing it out. Right now it's just a solid box, but we're going to draw the actual shelf parts. So let's draw the inside first. Let's go this way. Hopefully this isn't getting cut off. No, we're doing okay. Should have had my paper tape down though. All right, so now we're going to see the inside of our bookshelf. The underside of the top, because it's above the horizon line. So that goes in. That goes that way. This goes down like so. And this comes out like that. This comes out like that. All right, so there's our hollowed out bookshelf. Now we're going to just decide, I'm going to do 2 shelves. So just draw a diagonal line there and a diagonal line there. Double up on the lines. We will just see the top of that shelf. This one we'll see a little more of. We're going to go from the right vanishing point there, and this is going to be very narrow, but just see a sliver of that, like so. Okay, so there's our bookshelf, and I can put more objects. I can put a TV or something on top of that, or start filling in books, and the books are easy to do because you basically just draw like another rectangular box and then make it look like books stacked up. So there's obviously more I can do to this room, more details I can add. Like I said, you need to have at least 5 objects, so this is 1, 2, 3. you would need at least 2 more, and then, you know, make sure you add the details and fill them out. And, you know, don't stop there. I mean, have fun with it. You know, keep adding more stuff, you know. If you have 5 objects and you want to go for 6, you know, draw a little lamp over here. Remember to do a lamp. Draw a box in 2-point perspective, you know, really quickly. I'm not doing this exactly to the vanishing points, but you would draw a box, you know, like that. Work out the vanishing points, and then do your ellipses, and you can like make a lampshade and, you know, make one of those tall lamps that you see. You know, so just have fun with it. Keep filling it out. You know, I think once you get a couple objects done, you'll get the feel for it, and you'll be able to figure out other objects from there. All right, so I hope this helped. Again, like I said, I did give you other videos that hopefully you watched, but I noticed that on a lot of those, they do things a little differently than the way I do it, so I wasn't sure if that would throw you off or not, so that's why I went ahead and just made this for you. So hopefully you find it helpful. And anyway, that's it. If you have any other questions, let me know, and we'll see you guys soon.